So we've got our 10.2. Find line of symmetry. And our vertex. All right, so that's what we're going to be doing, is finding those two. Now, you're probably saying, well, why is this going to help me, Ms. Graham? I don't really care about line of symmetry or vertex. Well, the problem is when we start, like I said earlier, when we start moving these parabolas around to create a table is a ton of work, because you can no longer just use -2 through +2 and hope that it works. So this is actually going to be a very nice shortcut that you're going to like, okay? All right, so we're going to start off where in 10.1, just kind of a side note, we talked about this form, okay? And we talked about how that was missing that middle B term. And it's really nice when it's missing the middle B term, this term right in here, then we know that it's going to be right on that y-axis. And that's why every single one we looked at had a line of symmetry of x equals 0. All of them did. Okay, but today we're going to be looking at back to our other form that we looked at in chapter 9, ax squared plus bx plus c. And now our b term is back, okay, which is going to change it. So we're going to use this nice equation for the line of symmetry, and this is going to be our friend. All right, very important formula, and this is x equals, because I told you guys yesterday, the only ones we're working with right now are going to be facing up or facing down. We're not shifting them sideways or any other crazy ways. So they're all still going to be x equals, okay? But we're going to use this formula, -b over 2a. And this is going to give us the line of symmetry, which is going to be really nice, okay? All right, so let's look at one. I'm going to show you how to break this all down. Okay, so here's our first equation. If I said, hey guys, I want you to graph this, and you said, okay, I'm going to come over here, I'm going to create a table, and then you just start putting in random numbers, and that's just going to take a really long time, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to pick out, and we're going to use the a term, the b term, the c term just to get used to it, because you're going to use this somewhere else in math. But the a term, and when I say a term, it's coming from this right up here, okay? So the coefficient of x squared is what here? -2, right? Okay, so -2. My b term is the coefficient of x, so here that is 12. And then my c term is this poor little guy out at the end, and he's -7. All right. Okay, and so now all I have to do is plug it into my formula. So I'm going to say x equals -b over 2a. So x equals the opposite of b. So if this is 12, it's going to go in as a -12 over 2 times a, so 2 times -2. And so then I'm going to simplify that. So that's going to be what? -12 over -4, which is going to be +3. So this means my line of symmetry is 3. Okay, and again, you're saying, well, whoopsie-doo, who cares? All right, so let's go ahead and set up our graph and talk about where we think this might be located so we can pick good points. So based on what I know, because I'm a genius, I'm going to come over here and put in my x and y axis. All right, so the equation x equals 3, okay, would be located right here. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in a faint line of symmetry here. Well, and I'm working in permanent marker, so it won't be too faint. Okay, I know that my parabola is going to fall on that line, and my vertex is going to fall on that line. Okay, all right, so now, and I also know what else is it. Can anybody tell me anything else they would know about this parabola? Maybe, maybe not. What? Vertex is on the line, that's what I just said. What about this guy? It'll be facing down. So my parabola is somewhere here, going like this, okay? Now, it might also be helpful to find my vertex. So we're going to use this and find the vertex. This means that x is 3, which means you can plug it in here and figure out what y is. So here's my line of symmetry. I'm going to put LOS for line of symmetry. All right, and then I'm going to plug this in right here. So y equals -2, 3 squared plus, I'm going to run out of room, 12 times 3 minus 7. Sorry, that's kind of hard to see, but do you understand what I did? I just plugged it in here and here. Okay, now I'm going to follow my order of operations. So 3 squared is 9. Let's see, times -2. What's 12 times 3? 36. And minus 7. All right, so -2 times 9 would be -18 plus 36 minus 7. So what is -18 plus 36 minus 7? 11. So y equals 11. Okay, so by using my line of symmetry, which is this line, and then plugging it in, now I get a vertex at 3, 11. Okay, so I know that that is my maximum value on this parabola, so I'm going to go over 3 and up 11, which I don't know if I'm going to have room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm going to count by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I know that's my maximum value, so I'm going to come in right there. And I know it's facing down. So, based on that information, what numbers should I put in my table? Multiples of something, okay. Okay, wouldn't they have to be right around here? Would you want to use numbers over here? No. So what numbers would be in here that would make sense? 2. I like that number. What else?
4, 3, 1.
Probably 1. Do we like using 0?
Yes.
Yes. Now, let's start with those and see what happens, okay? All right, so let's even start even easier. Let's start with 0, okay? Because we can do this pretty much mentally, right? Okay, if I start with 0, 0 times 0 plus 0 minus 7 would be -7. Okay, so if I go to 0, and remember I was counting by 2s. All right, so if I go over 0 and down 7, I end up right here. Okay, now, line of symmetry means it cuts it in half, right? So can I automatically put another point over here with doing no work? Heck yeah. So 1, 2, 3, bam. I didn't have to do any work, and now I have 2 points graphed. Actually, well, 3 points graphed, but I had to do some work. All right, now let's try to put in a 1. A 1 is still pretty simple, okay? So I'm going to plug the 1 into here. So if x equals 1, -2, 1 squared, plus 12 times 1 minus 7. So this is going to be, what, -2 plus 12 minus 7? So what is that? -9 plus 12 is -3. So that's going to be, oh, no, +3. All right, so I'm going to go over 1 and up 3. 1, 2, 3. Could I find another point since I know the line of symmetry? Yes. So I just have to go over, what, 2 more? Okay, do I have a parabola in there now? I sure do. So now we're going to go ahead and draw it in. I have to turn it here a second. Okay, notice that I'm ever so slightly making this go out. So it's not just going down. I'm going out just a little bit. Emma.
Okay, so at the top when it was x equals -12 over 2 times -2.
Yeah.
You like made -12 into a. You said you like switched one of it. It was like 12 to -12. Why didn't you put -4?
Okay, because it's right here. See that -b? That's why. Yes, it has to be the opposite b, but the bottom is just 2a. Jenna. Say that again. Y is 3. Why did I put it on 6?
You put 3. You're kind of like 2.
Right here?
No, up. All the way to 6. You didn't count by 2.
Oh man, I did. Over 1 up 2, 3. Okay, watch this. Look at that. It changed colors.
I missed it.
Do it again. Yeah, there you go. Okay. Oh, no, you really missed it. No, okay. All right, so is that good? Okay, very good. All right, so These are my notes. Do I practice for class? I make all kinds of videos on myself. You guys just haven't seen them. All right, let's look at another one just so we can go through it together. I'm not showing you anything new. I just think you probably need to see it one more time. All right, so first thing we're going to do is pull out the A term, the B term, and the C term. So the A term here is 1. The coefficient of x squared is 1. The B term is -2, and the C term is -3. Okay, so now I'm going to use my line of symmetry, which I'm going to call LOS, which is x equals -b over 2a. So I'm going to use that formula to figure out where my line of symmetry is located. Okay, so it's -b, so it's the opposite of b, and if b is -2, then it's going to be +2 over 2 times a. So now I'm just getting 2 over 2, which is 1. So my line of symmetry is x equals 1. I should know, because this is a positive, that this is going to face up, but I don't know what its minimums and maximums are, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out what that vertex is. And to figure out the vertex, I'm just going to plug in x equals 1 back into my original equation. So y equals 1 squared minus 2 times 1 minus 3. 1 squared is 1, minus 2, minus 3. So it's going to be -4. So my vertex is now 1, -4. And that gives me a pretty good idea of how and where I need to draw my graph. Okay, so now I'm going to go to my graph. This is just me, but I do like to go ahead and kind of dot in my line of symmetry. I think it helps me when I go to graph. Okay, so that's the x equals 1. My vertex is 1, -4. Make sure I count by ones this time so I don't confuse myself. Alright, so there's that. Okay, now, what numbers should I put in my table?
0.
Okay, 0 is a good one. So, 0 is good?
1.
Okay, now, do we need to put in 1? Because it's already there. We already know what it is, right? Okay. What other number? Maybe 2? Okay. What about a -1 over here? Because it's going to come up this direction, so we might need to put in a -1. Do you notice how much smaller this makes my table, by the way? Do you notice how much smaller my table is? So I had to do a little more work up front, but it saved me a lot of work on the back end. Okay, so now let's plug in a 0. So this is easy. 0, 0. So this is going to be -3. All right, so I'm going to graph 0, -3. And because I know that one now, I now know its reflection over here on the other side is right here. So now I have 3. If you've ever, and I don't know if you guys have asked me this or not, but parabolas need about 5 points. Okay, so you need 5 points. You can have more, but that's kind of the minimum on that one. Emma?
Where'd you get the very bottom dot?
That's my vertex. That's what we figured out up here. All right, so now we're going to plug in the 2. So I've got, what, 2 squared minus 2 times 2 minus 3. So it would be 4 minus 4 minus 3. So 4 minus 4 is 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm getting negative. Did I already write that one? 2. Oh, I did. I reflected it. Silly, silly. Don't need. Okay, so now let's do my -1. We don't have that one. Okay, so -1 squared minus 2 times -1 minus 3. So -1 squared would be a +1. Negative